So these are 5 tips. Now let's watch these 5 tips about how to write a CV. But we have here 5 tips how to write a CV. It's important. Then after that, we'll talk about the steps of writing a CV. I know it's about soft skills now, but it's important to know about the CV and everything. Okay? So now, watch this video about how to write a CV, then we will come back. Okay? So let's watch this video.
Jeff, but you probably know us as the interview guys. Today, Jeff and I are talking about one of the most important requirements for getting a job interview, your resume.
Whether you're applying for a job as a cashier at a donut shop like our friend Shirley here, or as the CEO of a major corporation, your resume is an extremely important part of your job search.
You wish you were applying for a job here, Jeff. I mean, you come here so much that you may as well work here.
What can I say? I'm a bit of a long john guy.
A few more of these donuts and you'll be looking more like a wide john guy. Anyway, your resume acts as the first impression with your potential employer and ultimately can be the deciding factor in whether or not you even get an interview.
And that's why we decided to give you our top 5 tips for getting the most out of your resume. And make sure you watch this video until the end because we're going to show you exactly how to make sure your resume stands out against all of your competition. So what's the first tip, Mike?
Our first resume tip is to keep it simple in terms of design. If your resume looks cluttered and confusing to you, imagine what the hiring manager is going to think, that you're a cluttered and confused employee. You also want to stay away from using any fancy designs and fonts. That means none of your signature smiley faces or hearts, okay, Jeff?
Copy that, Mike. Tip number 2 is that you need to include important keywords in your resume. Companies nowadays use digital database technology to scan resumes for important keywords. Meaning that if you don't have those keywords in your resume, then your resume won't get put in the yes pile. You can generally find the best keywords to use in the job description.
Our third resume tip is to use what we like to call power words. Instead of writing that you worked on this or worked on that, try using more effective vocabulary like implemented, developed, initiated, or executed. These power words will show the potential employer that you are capable and intelligent.
Tip number 4 is to remember to tailor your resume to the job you're applying for. Every job you apply for is going to have a unique set of requirements, and you should ensure that your experience and skills are completely aligned with those requirements. You should have a different, unique resume for every job you apply for.
And last but not least, tip number 5 is to consider getting professional help. While you're definitely capable of putting together an acceptable resume, in today's grueling job market, sometimes acceptable just isn't enough. It's really important that you stand out, so having a professional writer in your corner will not only save you a ton of time, but also ensure your first impression is a memorable one.
Okay, so now you have the tools to ensure that your resume passes all the tests with flying colors and always ends up on the yes pile. But as you know, this is only the first step toward getting a job.
The most important step is the next step, and that is acing your job interview. But in order to do that, you're going to need to know how to give perfect answers to the toughest interview questions.
But don't worry, because the interview guys have got your back, because we've prepared a special report that outlines exactly how to prepare perfect answers to every interview question.
That's right. We walk you through our proven step-by-step process for giving perfect interview answers in our hugely popular free special report.
So to get the special report, simply click the link in the middle of your screen now. We're Jeff and Mike, the interview guys, saying thanks for watching. Now,
Okay, now after watching these simple tips of like having like a good resume, writing a good resume or something like that, let's watch some like 3 tips about how to write a resume, then we talk about the whole steps with details and everything. Okay, so let's watch this video as well. Then we continue to the steps how to write a good resume and how to hunt for a good job. Okay?
We're almost ready to start writing a resume. However, before you actually start crafting that fantastic resume, You really need to know 3 things. First of all, you need to know what you want. I don't mean I want a job. Of course you want a job. I mean, what are 5 job titles that are probably going to give you what you want? What are some companies and industries where you might find that? So hopefully you already know that and can just pull out that piece of paper where you wrote all of that down. If not, you need to go do some work. So number 1, you need to know clearly and concisely what's the job that you're going for. Number 2, you need to know what employers want. So if those are the jobs that you want, what are employers asking for in terms of skills and experience? Number 3, you need to know what makes you great. Yes, you have got some unique talents. You've done some great things. Doesn't matter what jobs you've had in the past. There's something about you that's special. And you need to capture that and turn it into a story that you can put on your resume to highlight why you have the skills and expertise for the job that you want. Okay, so you know what you want, and you've got a list of target job titles and hopefully some companies and industries where you're likely to go and find those jobs. Know what employers want. Have you already made a list of the desired and required skills? If you haven't, take out a clean piece of paper, or do this on your computer, however you prefer, and I want you to create 3 columns. In the first column, I want you to write required and desired skills at the top. The second column, yes or no. Do I have the skills or not? And the third column, if I've got it, if the answer is yes, I do have that skill, you're going to need to write that down. If not, we'll talk about what to do there. So 3 columns, what are employers requiring, and what are the nice to have skills? Second column, do I have the skills, yes or no? And the third column, what skills do I have that compare to what they're looking for? All right, now how are you going to get at all of that? You're going to do a little market research. Take those 5 job titles that you want and go do a Google search or do a search on Indeed.com and look for job postings that appeal to you. Print them out. I'm not trying to waste paper here. I've just discovered that this is the most effective way for people to actually do this market research. So print out those 5 or 10 job postings and take a highlighter and actually highlight what are the skills that are required and desired for jobs that I think I'd like to get. Once you've done that, you're going to start to see some patterns, and employers are looking for similar things, but they might call them something different. So if you need to, write down everything to begin with. And then what I want you to do is I want you to whittle that list down to the top 10 required skills. What are the top 10 things that employers are asking for with jobs that I'm interested in? You're going to put those in that first column on that piece of paper. And once you've done that, you're going to go through them one by one. If you want a job as a waiter at an upscale restaurant, for example, probably the first thing employers want is a minimum of 3 or 5 years of experience. Which is it? Is it 3? Is it 5? Write that down. Do you have that? Yes or no? If you do, great. Write down how many years of experience you have. If you don't, write no in the middle column, and then write down how many years of experience you do have. Do you think you need to go get more years of experience before you apply for a job? Well, we don't know yet. We need to go through the rest of the skills and see if you've got everything else they're looking for, and that's going to help you determine, is this a real or just a perceived gap? And this is all going to help you write a resume. It's going to get you the job that you want. So along the way, we're figuring out,
Okay, so welcome back. So after the video, we paused for a small technical problem, but we're back. So after this video, so you know now like how to hunt for a job and other things. Now let's go for some steps how to write my resume. That's a good question, and that's lots of people ask this question, and they need an answer for this question. So how to write my resume. Now, how to write a resume, we have here like 10 steps. They can help you a lot in writing your resume. Now, before writing the resume, you have to decide on something important. Now, you have to find your job, okay? You have to find a job for your resume. Now, as we agreed that the resume is like somehow directed to a specific job, directed to having a specific job. So, direct your resume to something. So find a job for your resume. That's the first step. Now go for the second step. List keywords for the resume. Remember from the video he said something about keywords. Like for example, technical experts, management skills, industry know-how, education and training, where he or she lives, work history, and some other things like we have them here. Sales, MS Word, BS, which is like, or you can say Bachelor of Science, Internet, Business Plan, Events, Speaking, Product, Lunch, High Tech, and all of these keywords. Try to make sure that your resume has those keywords so actually they can help you. Because as we know from the video that most companies now, they scan resumes through like scanners, computers and other things. So they look for some specific words. So like try to enhance your resume with those keywords. Now choose a resume format. And that's an important thing now. The design of the resume, keep it simple. Okay, don't try for fancy things. As he said in a video, if you got confused from your resume, imagine that what will someone like that do with your own resume? So, like, keep it simple. Keep it very simple. Now let's talk about some of like the resume, some of the formats that we have. Now we are going to talk about 3 kinds of formats. The first one is the chronological resume template. The chronological, as we can see here, like it's from this here, if you can magnify this thing. Okay, so from this here, the chronological is simple. You have your name in the beginning, you have some things, okay. This actually is one of best, okay, for recruiters. Now the recruiters, they love that kind of resume, the chronological resume, okay. Why? Because it's somehow good for seeking a new job, who wish to stay the same line for work and at the same level of employment. Now it's also good for someone who wants to move up to like up the ladder in the line of work they're currently in. Now if you want to promote yourself from that job to go to another job, so that's like the resume for you. Recruiters, they love that kind of resume, and it's simple for them to understand you, because the resume talks about you. I want to understand you. Okay, that's the first approach about like having like a job. The job starts with a resume, then after that, like you can say the interview. Now let's go for the next one, the functional. The functional resume template. Okay, if we're talking about this one, like when you give lots of job descriptions, when you give lots of details and lots of useless details, this is the least preferred by recruits and employers. But pay attention to something important. If you're making an extreme career change or having a very confusing and troubled work history, this thing can help you. The functional may be your best thing. Like, what are the trouble with the work history? Some things, some problems, some confusion in things, and you need to be specific. You need to categorize them. So put a category for everything. That will be your answer here. Okay? So let's go next. The last kind we're going to talk about it, which is like combinational resume template. The combination resume template, okay, this one is arranged, is nice. Some recruiters, they like it, okay. It's very well received. They receive it well, recruiters and employers. It's great resume format for career changing. If you want to change your career to something else, excuse me, I want to talk about your previous experience, or you seeking for promotion or something like that, something vertical career move. Vertical career move, that means you're going up, okay? So that's promoting. Horizontal is different. Vertical, now we're talking about promoting. So if you're looking for promotion or something like that, so combination resume is the thing for you. So these are the kind of resumes. Now let's go next. Your resume header. Okay. The header of your resume should be your name. Have your name in a book format. Okay. So contact information as well. Okay. And here are some few points that can help you to enhance the rest of the things. Okay. First, your name. Your name is the most important thing in a resume. Pay attention. Your name is very important. Now, your name, it talks about you. It's your identity. So try to make your identity clear in a larger size and other things. Put your contact information under your name and put your name in a large size or something like that. And use a regular type of writing. Don't try to use fancy writing. Don't try to use weird fonts and other things. Use the regular type. Regular type can be calligraphy, can be Arial, can be Time New Roman, not bad. But actually, if we're talking about formal time, formal one, you have calligraphy, Arial, or Tahoe. Okay? Let's go next. The address. Okay. The address should be a street address, not a P.O. box. Don't say that P.O. box like for your neighborhood or something like that. So that's the P.O. box. Now talk about the address, the street, okay? Because home address gives more stable image about you, okay? Now, when I have your home address or street address, that means, okay, you live in a place, stable image about you, you're a person who pays rent, well educated, and all of these things. All of these things I can understand from your street. Let's say, for example, you're planning to move soon, so like, don't put an old street name and you've changed that, or you're going to change that soon. If you have a reason not to use your like street address, that's the reason. Meaning, okay, P.O. box, use it if you're going to move soon. Don't use the street address, of course, because you cannot put something old, cannot put something that's not there anymore. Let's go next. Phone number. Your phone number, okay. The best thing about the phone number, you have to put a phone number that they can reach you easily. As for work number, try not to put a work number. Why? Because the person who's going to call you at work is not going to be discreet about the thing. He's not going to hide it. Most likely, actually, he is going to say it. Why? To help you leave your job and come to him. She wants to hire you. She wants to hire you. So don't give like that work number. Try to give your cell phone number, your home number. That's better. And your home number is the best. Okay? So they can call you and reach you. Okay? Email address. Now, as for the email address, pay attention to something important. Pay attention to choose a formal email. What's the formal email? Don't make the email like the Hammer or whatever, the Strong Hammer, or John Cena, or Spider-Man, Batman. All of these are not professional emails. Your professional email should actually be an identity for you. Then you should talk about you. When I say should talk about you, so my friend, here you need to put like your name, your last name, or something like that. So that's for the email address. Okay? Don't try to put your work address because it's not professional. Trust me, it does not give like a nice impression about you when you put your professional address. Okay? Email address. Let's go next. Fax number with web address and social networking profile. For fax number, it's not needed that much to use the fax number because we are not using that much nowadays. We use email instead. Website. If it's relevant to the job, put your website. Like for example, you're an accountant. You don't need a website. You're an English teacher. Maybe you can use your website. You're a marketeer. You work in e-marketing. Yes, of course you need your website. That's important. Social network profile. To talk about Twitter, Facebook, or something like that. LinkedIn, or all of these things. Okay. Now, if you have it, okay, and appropriate for the job, don't put the social network like profile, something like that has like something an actor you like, it's your profile picture, something like that. You can put it, but put an appropriate one, something professional. Believe that the resume talks about you, so you need to give a good impression about yourself. Okay? Let's go next. Okay, it's loading. Okay. Email address again. Okay, step number 5. Your resume job objective. Now, we've talked about the things that should be in your resume, the previous contact information and other things. Now, your resume job objective. Learn the pros and cons of having job objective. Now, here, try to learn what are the pros, what are the cons of having a job objective, okay? Now, to have a job objective, that means you have a goal, which is a nice thing. It gives a good impression about you. That means you are like somehow, you set your mind on something, which is like, you're systematic somehow, you know? That's a good impression about you to your employer or your upcoming employer, if we're talking correctly or being more accurate or specific, okay? Now, let's go next. Next is step number 6. Step number 6, yes. Your summary of qualifications. Now, let me ask you this question first. Do you think that if the employer reads only this part of your resume, does she or he get the very best of what you have to offer? I guess not. Okay. Summary of qualifications is a good thing, but it's not everything. But try also to do this. Now, it's not everything, but it's an important thing. Now, to give a summary about your qualification, it helps you, like, to save time for other people. If you can talk about most of the things that you have in a summarized way, that saves time. And trust me, everyone appreciates time. So that's a good step that can help you. Now, so the summary does not say everything about you. I'm not going to hire you because of it. But it gives like, it saves time. That means I'm going to ask you related to some things. I'm going to direct my questions according to some things I want to know, according to your qualifications. Now, how about your work experience? Your work experience, you need to talk about your work experience. As we said before, don't talk about lots of job descriptions and other things. Talk about your achievements. Talk about what did you do when you were working something like that. Okay? Now, we're missing 3 steps. Step number 8 is about your achievement statements. Okay, so that's what we were talking about. Don't talk about lots of job descriptions. Talk about your job. Talk about the things that you used to work. Time them. Give the time for each and every one. And after that, talk about your achievements. Achievements about everything. What did you do before? What did you do in that job before? Okay, like maybe something like you managed to do, you helped the company to win something. The same things that we've talked before about like the interview, try to apply the same thing on paper. Because that's the approach for the interview. That's very important. It helps you to go to the interview, so that's very nice. Okay, let's go next. Now, let's go for number 9. Number 9 here is listing your education on your resume. Now, qualifications are different than education. Now, qualifications, what qualifies you for the job, but your education is very important to be put in that thing. List your education according to from new to old. And also pay attention, something I forgot to mention, in your resume, try to list things from important to not important. Of course, the important things are going to be the things that are relevant to the job. So try to put the things that are relevant to the job as important as like prioritize them. Okay? So for the education, don't try to list lots of education like list lots of education things. Now don't say, for example, I've been to college, high school, prep school, primary school. Oh my god, that's nonsense. If you've been to college, that means you've been through all of these. So that's the thing. So pay attention not to talk a lot in your presentation. Not to talk a lot and not to talk like minimum information. No. Try to be moderate. Try to measure things according to deliver correct impression about you, good information, enough information through that thing so he can or she can actually give you the opportunity to go to like the interview. Let's go next. One last thing. Community service and other lists on your resume. Now, community server, service. Like let's say, for example, volunteer work. If you work for charity or something like that, is this important in your resume? Yes, it tells a lot about you. Now, if you are a person who worked before with like charity work or something like that, that's very good because it tells like how like helpful are you and how helpful for the society and everything. So that's important. Yes, if you have like community service something or volunteer work or other things, list them in your resume. Talk about them in your resume. They give a good impression about you. Okay. Now, after finishing your resume, of course, you put references at the end. Put references at the end for previous jobs. Put them or put available upon request. Available upon request. That means when they request the references for the previous job or something like that, you will actually provide them with these references. I hope these 10 steps were actually enough for you to understand what you're up against, what like should you do to write a correct or good resume. Okay, that's important. As we agreed before, resume is American, CV is British. To use both, like no problem. But it's better to use the American one if you're applying for American thing. It's better to use CV if you're applying for a British thing or something like that. The common one nowadays is like the American accent, so like stick with the American accent will help you a lot. Everyone understands the American accent. The same as if we're talking about Arabic. Everyone understands Egyptians, but not everyone understands like the other people. Okay, so like not all of them understand each other, but everyone understands Egyptians because like they have lots of movies and other things. So Egyptians are famous for their accent and other. Okay. So today we've talked about lots of things. It was like a nice session with lots of things, lots of skills, lots of videos, lots of things. Okay. We will list in the manual the videos that we've worked from. So you can actually Google these videos, find them through the internet and try to watch them again. That will be very helpful for you. Okay. Thank you very much for attending. This was Ahmed Raka from the Academic Professional Training. Thank you very much for this course. This course was like nice. So this is the last session in level 12 and we're going to have, inshallah, the upcoming session is going to be like the revision session. We'll talk about some things. This revision is going to be different somehow. We need this revision to be like, not just revision, we need to add some other things in the revision. Maybe like talk about some other tips to learn English, to finish learning English, and some other tips. What's next? Okay, after finishing English, what's next? That's the correct question. It's not about I stop learning. No, you don't stop learning. After English, after anything, you continue doing the thing. This course for learning English, that's the first approach like of knowing anything about English. Learning English does not just end by a course. No, actually, it starts by a course, and then you have to enhance yourself with other methods. Like, for example, watch movies, listen to songs, watch academic things, watch TEDx, the things that we actually play always, listen to songs, do like watch documentaries or something like that. All of these things can help you a lot in your process of learning English. Okay? Thank you very much again, and it was very nice seeing you, teaching you. This was Ahmed Agab from the Academic Professional Training. This was Unit 12 and Unit 11. Thank you very much, and I will see you again in the revision, inshallah. Have fun and enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and wish the best for you all. Thank you very much.